everyone, this is Cosmic Kitsuname, and what you just saw was an AI generating or creating art based on a text prompt or what image it was given. And there are many, well, the few I know, sites that have really good AI artists. I think it's really cool because it allows those to create art and even enhance pictures or photos of what they've already drawn. And I've heard about such technology in the past, but I didn't really give it much thought until someone told me about DALL-E 2 and Night Cafe. And if you're interested, I will be putting a link in the description box along with the link for my first Rumble exclusive video where I talked about the animation Primal. Now the reason I make this video is because this may be a little late, but I wanted to talk about the anime Berserk, or Berserk in general. Berserk till this day manages to be one of my favorite, if not my most favorite, anime for many reasons. When I read the manga, and I later watched the episodes and compared them, the original one anyway, it was really good. And to this day it has withstood the test of time. There are so many types of philosophical conversations one can have about that anime. And it's something that I go back to and look at or watch. There are many quotes and things in there that are actually very inspiring, despite it being a dark fantasy or dark anime. Which brings me to this. I remember being one of the people that were very angry when people started talking about how gory it was, or how bad it was, or this happens to men, this happens to women, this, why would anyone watch this, stuff like that. And many of the people that had those complaints have spent many years not even knowing what Berserk was. They read one chapter, and that's just assuming, or watched one episode, and they just assume to know what the entire anime is about. The anime actually teaches you to go against your anger, or inspires you to go against that anger, even with all the stuff that Guts goes through. There are times where he embraces his rage, and although it may be very necessary considering what he's fighting, you don't let your anger consume you in that way. And this is the very thing it rails against. It rails against the idea of just everything being just one way. What I like about Berserk is it shows the darker side of humanity. When you look at the apostles and you take away all of the powers and abilities they have, they're essentially humans, or rather, if they start off that way, humans that cannot accept accountability for what has happened to them or around them. And usually when they do, in the case of one character, she lost all will and kicked the bucket. And just about every character you see in Berserk, because as dark as it is, it has so much life, and it's just funny because even if it's just a side character, when you see the characters dying and how they're dying or what they're going through, depending on the role they play in the story, it gives off this image that every single character has their own life and their own goal. You can see this by how members of the Band of the Hawk interact with each other. And yes, they're all allied with Griffith and they're following his dream because they put theirs to the side. Some are willing to acknowledge this, like Judeo, and others are hoping to accomplish their dream through following this guy. And there was one speech in that anime, or just in general, in the story that stands out to me to this day because it is how a person should live, and a very powerful speech if applied correctly. Here's the clip.
Why are most men so preoccupied by bloodshed? It's true that men possess a side that is rather savage, as you have already observed, but its purpose is to win things that are precious, as well as protect them. You could say it's like a double-edged sword. Love and honor are both important things. They are the things a knight is willing to die for. It's the reason they take up arms. However, for a man, I believe there is something that goes beyond that. Something even more precious. They are driven to pursue it. So driven, they do it entirely for their own sake. It's their dream. A dream. Men yearn for their dreams, regardless of their class, and no matter what their achievements have been. One can be sustained by their dream, hurt by their dream, revived by their dream, or even killed by it. And though one might be abandoned by his own dream, even then it will smolder in his heart forever. One should know what it feels like to strive for such goals, to willingly martyr yourself to the God-named dream. I find it abhorrent to simply live out my life for no other reason than I was born into it.
With that being shown, that's just one of many things in anime that I like. And there are many instances where words aren't even the thing that really is moving about it. The battles, the fights, they have purpose. Even for all of the thousands of soldiers that Guts has slain, it's moving towards an actual goal. And even if one isn't a warrior or they're a blacksmith or whatever type of skill they have, it highlights that in a funny way too. Everyone has their own skills. It's who they decide to follow, whether it be someone else or themselves. And when it comes to the creator, Kentaro, he will be dearly missed. I think it's extremely amazing how an artist is able to connect to so many people and move people just by their writings or their creations. And Sometimes I have to try not to get so choked up about it because he truly did leave before his time, in my opinion. And I'm not just talking about the anime or the manga. I would have liked to see his envisionment of the ending, and now we'll never get that. But there is good news. I did find a site that has a countdown on it, and I didn't quite know what it was for. Maybe it's a countdown for a new series, an episode, or adaptation from the manga, because we really do need one. The last two were pretty terrible. But many of us were just happy to get one, honestly. It felt good. The CGI wasn't hitting on much, but it was good to at least be able to see that. And hopefully, whenever the anime does end, or the manga ends, it ends on the closest thing to what Kentaro would have done. Or hopefully he left enough notes around so that his team, others can finish it. But yeah, it made me really sad because we're losing a lot of our legendaries, and this isn't the first time I've done a video about one of them passing. Over the years, we have lost many very important people. People that were able to inspire others. You know, it's really funny because a lot of the monsters or references you see in many other games came from Berserk, or they were inspired from Berserk. It's so heavily referenced that sometimes people miss it. But every time I see it, I always have a smile on my face because it pays respect to not only a great anime, but a great person. There are many types of artists in this world, and to be able to create art, especially art that moves people, is a very good thing. Not everyone is able to do that. And so that's something to be proud of, that's something to respect. And I have high amounts of respect for genuine artists. People that do things because they have a passion for it and a strong desire. You don't see too much of that anymore, and that's why it makes me sad, because I now have to look for others to fill that void. And as somewhat of an artist myself, yes, there's things that I could do, but you can't be just like a one-man show, you know? It takes many to bring about that. Rather, sometimes it takes just one match, but you have to keep the torch lit, keep the fire going. And that's why it's important. I remember one anime by name of Goblin Slayer. When I first saw it, I didn't expect much from it, to be honest. And within the first episode, I was really hooked because they had the guts to bring some of that back. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. But then after they did that, they caught so much heat. And then it's like the series just turned into something else. Which made me not really want to watch it anymore. I tried to, but I just lost all interest. The first episode still remains the best one. If it had kept that energy and just ran with it, it could have been almost as good. Dark fantasy is supposed to be what it is. You can't change a genre because you don't like how it functions or how it plays out. It would be one thing if you were a heavy enthusiast and that's what you've watched for a long time, and you're like, oh, this is kind of odd, or this doesn't quite line up. But when you have people that don't even like the genre that they're listening to trying to change it for everybody else, that's just wrong. And that's what's irritating. It's this type of mentality some people have, to the point where if I can't enjoy it, no one else can. And this is what brings me great pain as an artist, because music and essentially any art form, comedy, whatever you specialize in, that's like the heart and soul of the community right there. There are many things that may have never happened without that inspiration, and even if a person is just relaxing, it's good to have. When I was a kid, at one point my music was all I had, and then when I found anime, that was something I was able to add on to my list of interests. It went from a hobby to a passion, and this is why I do the things I do. In a way, it saved me from the things I could have been doing, or the things that would not have been productive or beneficial to me. And so I remember this anime in particular being something that helped me greatly in a very dark moment in my life where I was angry, and unlike typical anime where, the character gets mad, has a little edgy moment or whatever, this anime, or whenever Guts dons the Berserk armor, it's not going that direction. Anger can be a very important tool if you're trying to overcome something, but you can't always stay in that mode, be it anger or sadness or even happiness. Light and darkness can't really exist without each other. And like I said before, there's so many different ways someone could go at this philosophically. There's so many things that one could derive from this. But this video was me also paying my respects to that, and I hope that we get more artists of that caliber on that level to continue, not just the genre, but just to continue being around, because it's very important to have people that have that kind of imagination and that kind of passion. To be able to have that form of expression, to connect with others, and possibly even help them. You'll never know who you might move or who you might be able to inspire. You may never even meet that person, but just the act of staying in your grind or doing what you feel is best for your life can in turn help others. Like positive reciprocity. So anyway, I'd like to thank everyone that's watched this video, and end with this clip. So anyway, take care and peace.
God. destiny. My dream. Does this sword embody my dream?
Guys! Are you ready?
Go!
God! So, I guess it was too many to handle all at once, huh?
Guess so. Is this reality? It has always been at my side. Through pain I could hardly endure. Yes, this is part of me. Whenever I met death, my sword was with me as I moved past it.
Come on!
For all the places that I have seen, and people I can never forget. I felt everything through the tip of my sword. This sword is the proof that I ever lived.
God! Come on, quit fidgeting!
Reckless and unfocused.
Godo, how did you decide to become a blacksmith?
Family trade.
Do you like it?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Erica likes it because it's fun! I want to be a blacksmith too!
Hey, watch that, alright?
I've been gripping this thing since before I could even walk. I didn't choose this. This is who I am. I just strike it. I don't think. I spent my youth desperate to forge a better sword, become a more skilled smith. Before I knew it, I was old. I don't even know what the hell I strike the iron for. But there is still one thing I like about it. The sparks. I like seeing sparks. Breathtaking. Life. Bursting before my eyes for just a moment. My life.
Sparks. The light born in the clash when two swords meet. They serve me as well. Throughout my life, the moments and people that have defined me, they have all been illuminated by sparks.